Glory to Ukraine, glory to brave Ukrainian army. Ukraine stands, Ukraine's fighting for the whole democracy in the world. We will definitely win. Today I want to show you some of my beauties. Bunch of varieties are blooming. They are blooming in different or a different stage, but most of them bloom in their second wave or second flush, and in some regions of Ukraine we have two flushes, only two distinct maybe, or two pretty generous flushes. In other regions we have even three flushes, and in every region of Ukraine, or in each region of Ukraine, there are of course some varieties or bunch of varieties which are blooming even during the first frost and after the first frost. Of course, the quality of the flowers, the temperate flowers, and of the bush itself, this will not be so high and so excellent quality, but still they bring joy during the time, especially prior to the long lasting and the longest period of gray, pretty humid, pretty cold, of course, snowy or not snowy, depends from month to month, from winter to winter, but still long lasting cold and humid weather, right? But it depends, of course, on each, not on each, but depends on every people taste and priorities. Maybe someone likes summer much, or the most someone does not care about different periods. They all, four periods, four seasons to be more distinct, they all work good for such people, for such person. But let's get back, or let's return to our roses, to my roses. There is, or it is already September in my garden, and today, even if it is September, first week of September, first days of September, but we have today, or we had, because day is coming to its end. Very soon we will have evening, and yeah, the next day we'll be waiting for it. But yeah, today we've had 30 plus degrees Celsius, and this is abnormal for our region. We have in Ukraine, there are regions where 30 plus in September, this is usual weather, usual temperature, but not in my region. So from one hand, this is good because heat and sun and warm conditions, we want for them to be long as they could, because I don't like winter. To be true, I love summer much more, even spring, late spring, summer, early autumn, but not the late autumn and winter. But Olivia Rose Austin, it's in the center of my screen, or your screen, from which you are looking at this rose variety. And this is second flush, as I have mentioned. For this variety, this is, I would not say that this is peak of this flush, but it's closing, or it's already close to the peak. But this wave, this flush, it will be not week or two, it will be longer. So even after the peak, after the top blooming, there will be still some flowers on the bush, some even clusters of flowers, because most branches, they end with clusters of flowers, and they could have from 3 to 5 and even more flowers in each. As you can see, because of shade from the house, sun is not shining at it directly, at this bush and at its flowers. You can see how tender and sweet and very nice pink color is these varieties. And in addition, this pink, it is pretty tense in the middle of the flower, right? But outer petals, they are lighter, a little bit lighter. They are creamy pink, but still this shade of pink, it's incredible, it's amazing, and I love this variety because of every characteristic. It's very healthy in my garden. It's pretty fast growing, it's pretty rich, pretty well branching, and of course it shows very neat and very nice formed flower. And unfortunately, flower itself, its life, it's not so long lasting. It will stay on the bush maybe 3 up to 5 days, but if it is, if I am lucky, it will be 5 days, but in most cases it will be less than 5 days. Of course, it depends on the weather, whether this is heat such as now, 30 plus a week or 2 weeks in a row, whether this is a very or weather without rains, very forgot this word in English, sorry. But we have week by week without any rains. Of course, such conditions, such dry conditions, they are not working good for the flowers, for the roses and other flowers, and of course trees, etc., for grass, for lawn. Of course, it's perfect when we have good but not very heating sun, when we have a good but not very long lasting dryness, and when we have rains from time to time and not storms, etc., etc. But this is utopia, and utopia does not or is not present in our world, only in books. So in addition, this variety Olivia rose, I will show you the bush and how it is looking for the second flush here in my rose garden. It has a very nice fragrance. It is not so strong. It is not so so intense, but it is felt, and it is very nice, and to my taste, I love such type of fragrances. So very nice variety, very stable from year to year. Unfortunately, it was damaged pretty severely by the not frost maybe, but winter conditions, or late autumn and plus winter conditions, and I have pruned it very severely, very strongly, but still it grown pretty generous bush, more than 100 high, more than 100 wide, and of course gave me a lot of flowers during the first flush. And you see that, of course, most of them still in buds, but some of them, part of them, they are opened and showing me their beauty. And you see how healthy leaves are, and branches, all the branches in leaves. This variety is very, very, I would say, best performing, or very, let it be best performing in my garden, because comparing to most of varieties, they are lagging behind very far from healthy conditions perspective of view. One more variety, and I will show you also. I will show it to you also from other angle as well. This is Candlelight, and this is hybrid tea. This is from Tantau, if I am not mistaken and remember this correctly, and also one of my favorite. But of course, it does not have such characteristics or the same characteristics as Olivia rose, because this is another type or different type of the bush, different type of flowers, a different breeder, of course, and it could not be so generous, but it could, and it is generous among other varieties, to compare to other varieties among this type of the roses. It has very also nicely formed flowers. They are pretty full, they are pretty big, they have a very intense yellow color at the beginning of the opening and in buds, and then they become more lighter and lighter. Lighter yellow, and in addition they switch or they are changing to light apricot palette, and then they become even lighter, and this color it transformed to light yellow, creamy apricot yellow, something like that. And all these transformations of the color through the blooming of each flower and of the wave of the flush itself, all these transformations are impressive and very nice looking. It also has fragrance. This fragrance is not so strong. It's, I would say, very close in intensity, I mean, to Olivia Rose. Of course, they have different notes of fragrance, different tones of fragrance, but in intensity, it's not so intense, but you will feel it if you will smell it. This flower, this variety, it works very nice, very well for cutting because of its long and hard stems, but of course, maybe not of course, but I must admit that flowers, they are not long lasting. Each or separate flower, it will not stay long on the bush, and I assume that the same will be for vase variant of the flowers. Correct me if I'm wrong and you have tried this and you have opposite impressions. These leaves, bush now covered with leaves, but they are already another generation, right, or another wave of leaves as well, because prior to this flush, prior to these new leaves, all previous they were damaged by black spot, and bush grew new leaves and new or as well in parallel with buds and with flowers, to make the bush more neat and more attractive. Astrid Grafin von Hardenberg, sorry. Oh, one of my favorite varieties and one of my, I would say, naughty varieties. Naughty, I could of course speak about child. If to talk about child, I could apply this word, but I am not sure it suits to the flower, but I don't know another word how to characterize this. You can leave your variant in comments, but I think you will understand what I mean under this word related to this flower, to this variety. So it's amazing in its color. As of now, I could not show you, not I, but my camera could not show you the most impressive view of this color, because sun a little bit shining at it. Sun is close to the evening. It's evening already, but still it is shining directly to this variety, and of course it makes the color a little bit lighter than it is, because it is in reality it is more deep, more intense, and in addition it has such characteristic that in middle part of the flower it's a bit lighter than outer part of the flower, and this outer part it is so darker that it makes impression that middle one or middle of the flower it is lightning like this lighter we have on the fawn or something like that. It grows, or flowers, they are growing in clusters. This variety, why I said it is naughty, because it is very hardly or very severely damaged by long-lasting humidity. You could, or I have faced with this, I have lost last season I have lost the whole first flush after the couple of days of raining and long-lasting humidity, and in 1 or 2 days I have seen all the buds were rotten. So yeah, I had to wait for the second flush to at least see what it will bring me and what joy and beauty will demonstrate. This variety will demonstrate. In addition, this variety it's also influenced by sun exposure, and I am not sure, I will show you maybe this one, it shows like this, it will be, yeah, you see I just touched to the flower and it lost all its petals. These are signs of sun exposure, and you see it just all these petals are just fallen while touching to them. This is because of sun heat of this 30 plus degrees Celsius day by day. So first day or first half of the day flower will be impressive, and then during this sunshine they will be, or it will be fallen down. But from the positive sides of this variety, it's also its fragrance. Fragrance is intense here, it's very strong, it's very noticeable, and it's very amazing. If you will smell it, you will be you will be flying, I would say. It's so amazing, so intense, and so nice one. That I am impressed by it, and that's why, because of its beauty, because of its fragrance, I still leave it to be here season by season, year by year, although, as I have mentioned, it could not be so well and so nice during the whole season, unfortunately. Dibles de Mer, also one of the favorite varieties and one of the famous varieties here in Ukrainian gardens, but I will show you maybe another one. You will not see it most probably in your gardens, your country, but we'll see. Maybe this will change. This is Ukrainian bred variety. This is Ayu-Dah. Ayu-Dah, this is a mountain in Crimea. You can Google it. Ayu-Dah, and this is one of the famous and one of the biggest mountain peak or mountain in Crimea, Crimean Peninsula, which was occupied by Russians back in 2014. So this is a reminder that this war lasts already 10 years. We have a new generation of kids, of people, Ukrainian people that were born, and they are already 10 years old, or who were 10 years old. They are, you can calculate that they are not teenagers anymore. They are fully young people. So Ayu-Dah, one of the cutest varieties, one of the very nice looking varieties with very big flower, with very interesting color. It's intense red at beginning, and then it but it is changing to a little bit raspberry red with accent to raspberry color. It is also flowers, they are full, but they petals, they are freely located, they are not tough. That's why flower itself and life of the flower itself, it's not so long lasting as I want, of course, and I wish it to be, because I have special emotions while looking at the varieties which were bred in Ukraine and now grown in my garden. I have a bunch of them, and of course each of them has some special memories for me, because I have visited this mountain while I was a child. This was very long ago, and this is some nostalgia for me that I have visited these places, and now I have plant named after it, after that place. Let's go to another varieties, and while you will be looking at them, I will give you a name of variety. This is Montmartre from Deep Roses. This is vase or floristic series, floristics, but I think Deep Roses, they are growing only floristics, varieties of roses, roses for weddings, etc., etc. And I will tell you that today Russia committed another crime. They struck Poltava city, and not on the but in Poltava city they struck high school, struck with 2 ballistic missiles, and for the students and all the personnel and all the people, I mean, who works there, teachers, lecturers, they had 2 minutes after the alarm started to get to the shelter. And now I would like you to imagine, it will not cost you anything, just to imagine you are at your favorite high school. I think most of you, each of you have finished high school already, or maybe at the high school now. Let's imagine that you are now listening to my words, and you are standing somewhere or sitting somewhere in your high school. auditorium or yard or cafe, etc., etc., you hear a raid alarm and you have 2 minutes to get to the shelter. Where would you be in 2 minutes? Will it enough time? Is it enough time to get there? Yeah, interesting. Leave your comment. Where would you be in 2 minutes if you were in your high school? And yeah, Russia, they struck this with 2 missiles, as I have said, ballistic missiles. They struck directly to this high school, and in the morning, of course, where there are all of them, students and teachers, and of course some other people, because Poltava, this is one of the biggest cities in Ukraine, and of course near the institute, near the high school, there could be some other people as well, even with kids while walking with strollers, etc. And by this attack they killed once in a go, they killed 49 as of now, because there are still ruins, and our emergency services, they are working on trying to deblocate everything which is under the ruins. So 49 dead and more than 200 wounded, and of course those wounded people, those wounded students, they are with different levels of injuries, so we are praying that all of them will stay alive and will survive this tragedy and this attack. And yeah, Russia, they are just keeping attacking us with missiles, with drones, with cups. And in addition, if you investigate, there is already open information that each of the missile, to launch, it should have microchips, different microplates, microservices, right? It could not be just cut off the iron and launch, get to Ukraine, that's it. No, of course it has it has to have some electronics inside, and most of this electronic, it is created by Intel or Nvidia. This is Western, from democratic, right? Democracy, so Russians and US to say, because Intel and Nvidia, they are located, they are headquartered, they are located in USA, right, in the United States. So democracy from US, they joined with Russia terrorism, and they bring, in quotes, of course, this democracy to our maternity ward, to our universities, to our private buildings, and to our territory, which is sovereign state, Ukraine, democracy, and European country with European quality of life. Of course, not during this war. So yeah, just to think about this, and we still we're still not allowed to apply Western missiles to the airports on the Russia territory, from which they start in the airplanes, landing from them, not landing but taking off from them, and starting or landing missiles to Ukraine. So we are not allowed to not pay back, of course, but to just to mitigate this situation, just to destroy this airport infrastructure where they have this warships, warplanes, and missiles, and all these parts of missiles, which they will definitely launch day by day to us. So yeah, but of course they are freely could do this with democratic European and American parts in the missiles, and that's okay. So looks like that president of those countries, they are the best anti-missiles and anti-drones shield for the Russia plane airports. So Kate, at the end of this video, will be Kate from David Austin Roses from UK, one of the most famous breeder in the world, one of the most famous flowers in the world, varieties in the world, and of course one of the most prominent in my garden, because it is here for the second year at this place, but I have bought it back in 2019. this variety, or 20, I even forgot this. So yeah, it has a very intense pink color, very intense fragrance, but not the way, but very nice looking. And of course this is wedding series, this is floristic series, so it could be used as for private gardens, as for exhibition, as the same for different floristic aims, weddings, etc. And previously you have I have demonstrated you Augusta Luise. This is it. I just decided to return to this bush just to name the variety. Augusta Luise Tantau, one of the famous varieties of that breeder as well, and of course one of the prominent, one of the eye-catching, one of the fragrance, and pretty good looking for the second flush in my Ukrainian garden. So yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for support, and think about this situation and this tragedy we have day by day with help of West, unfortunately. Thanks and bye.